thought I'd start out a little bit and tell you, a lot of people have questions like, how do we get started? For those of y'all who are here or native, I'm considered like a fourth generation. Even though I was born in Texas, Dad was military, we traveled, or he traveled and we went with him. So, and I was talking to this gentleman over here about being born in Texas. And but anyway, I'm fourth generation. And so my dad, his passion was flying and music. Those were his two passions. Excuse me. So he had a music store, the one on Fire Hall Hill. Some of y'all may not know what Fire Hall Hill is. But Fire Hall Hill, there was a music store. A fellow by the name of Joe Honey had that store. And when Dad retired, this is where he came back and retired. He bought the music. He walked in one day, walked around, looked around, and says, and he offered him a certain amount of money, and Joe said, it's yours. So after a little bit, they were going to start building on Fire Hall Hill. So they moved out to the church, just outside of town. It's now a museum, right? And upstairs was a studio, and downstairs was a music store. Dad gave free guitar lessons. Now that on the upstairs, the music that Dad recorded was mostly gospel. That was his favorite thing, was gospel music. And I think every group within 100, 200 mile radius came to the studio and recorded. Blackwood Brothers, I was trying to think of some other groups. But they all came there to record and then go out on the road. Well, now we get to Grandma. Okay, so how in the world did we ever get that far? Okay. Saying here, raised up on country music. I didn't hear bluegrass until I got to California. How weird is that? And when I first heard the banjo and the fiddle playing, I said, this is me, I'm home. So we started a band, we called ourselves the Homestead Act. And we got a really strong following around the Bay Area because nobody there played bluegrass really. So that's how we basically started. Our first time into the big time, we got a job at Harold's Club in Reno, Nevada. And a lot of y'all know this, the biggest little city in Nevada or whatever. There's some others that are pretty tiny. But anyway, we started there, and then we were originally 4 people. And we put on good shows and stuff like that. Well, 2 of our members, 2 weeks before we're supposed to take this job at Harold's Club, decide they want to go back to Nashville and start another career. So Elmo and I only knew about 18 songs that we actually did together. But we called the people at Harold's Club and said, we're giving you time to go hire somebody else. 2 of our members just left. And they said, well, do you have enough material to play an hour? All you gotta do is play the same show over and over. So we said, okay, we can do that. So we went ahead and went to Nevada, scared to death. I mean, this was our first big time. We've been playing locally for lots of things. And so we get there, we get up on stage, and we have, like I said, 18 songs. We figured 16 for an hour. And then we had 2 extras so we could make our show a little different on the second time around. We got up there, we did all 18 songs in less than 30 minutes. I kid you not. So what we did is we just looked at each other and started at the top again and just played them all again. So unfortunately, we had the editor of the local newspaper in there at the same time. We didn't know that. But anyway, next day in the paper it comes out and says, these kids are really different. They got some good material. Only problem is they keep playing the same songs. And he became a really good friend and really helped us out. But there was a gentleman there, his name was, he was with the Chessmen. And he was doing a solo act. The Chessmen were real popular in the 50s. And when rock and roll was really getting its hold on the music thing. So he took up, we got up on stage and we're standing there trembling. We did this 2 nights in a row where we played 18 songs twice in a row because we were so scared. He climbs up onto the stage after we do our first song and he takes over the mic and starts talking to people and talking to us. And he stayed with us and did all of our shows with us, plus his own. And that, from then on, we were there. And kind of went on from there. We went from Harold's Club over to a place called Jessie Beck's Riverside. Now she owned the Keno concession at Harold's Club, and when she sold her Keno concession, she had enough money to buy her own casino. Can you imagine that? It's just, so anyway, she called it Jessie Beck's Riverside. So we get to Jessie Beck's Riverside. Our last show for that, in there, we did 3 shows a night. Our last show was at 3:15 in the morning, from 3:15 to 4:15. Could you stay up that long? No, I don't think so. How about you? No, I didn't think so. That's where I learned to drink coffee. But anyway, our last show was 3:15 to 4:15. Well, you can imagine there weren't very many people in there at that hour. 1 or 2 people came in to sleep a little bit, or have something to drink. But anyway, so we got where we wear blue jeans t-shirts and we start practicing on material. We had a full stage, we had light man, we had sound man, and we had curtains. So it was a really nice room. So we up there, and he opens the curtain, or no, sorry, back it up. So we're wearing our jeans and t-shirts, and we're gonna work on some new songs. So we're up on stage, and the guy comes over, is getting ready to pull the curtain. He says, "Oh, by the way, thought you might like to know Liberace's in your audience tonight." We went, "What?" Man, we flew back to the dressing rooms, changed into what we called our A-list and our A clothes, and got all dressed up and came running back out and then played our songs. He stayed afterwards, and he took us all out to breakfast. And by the way, he played at Sparks Nugget on this particular event, and they give them a whole house, and they have 24-hour food service. They have a walk-in refrigerator. He fixed us steak and eggs, and it was awesome. But anyway, he came back and started coming back more than a couple of times, and he finally said, "I really like you guys, and I would like to work with you." And we said, "What are we gonna say? No." So anyway, he was wonderful, and he's the one who we were, like I said, wearing blue jeans. We matched, but we dressed up. And he says, "You need some rhinestones," coming from Liberace. So anyway, we did eclectic type songs too. One of the songs we did was Yesu, Joy of Man's Desiring, and he loved it. Of course, he plays classical too. So we did that. We did classical gas. We had a lot of, not just bluegrass, we did all kinds of music. So he came over one night and he said, "Listen, I'm flying back to LA. I'm turning my home into a museum. And so I would like to take you guys back with me, and let's do Yesu, Joy of Man's Desiring." So he flew us to LA for the opening of his home, the one that has the baby grand piano shaped pool. And in front of the press and everybody, we did Yesu, Joy of Man's together. And so I don't know how things come together, they just happen. And we were like really blessed at that. So that's basically how, and I got a picture of him up here. This is at his home in LA. And at the signing of that, I should have brought I got a newspaper article that came out in LA Times with us in it, and I made a big board on it. Forgot, I'll get it next time. Okay, but anyway, he really supported us. He got us started and got us a lot of places to play. Okay, now we're gonna go to Grandma. That one we were playing at Hyatt Lake Tahoe. We did what's called the casino circuit 5 years in a row, and it was while we were playing there at Hyatt Lake Tahoe. We just finished playing in Canada, and we drove we were in Winnipeg, Canada, and we knew there was a group playing before us that was very similar to us. They were bluegrass, or had bluegrass instrumentation. They were playing there, and we'd heard about them. We wanted to see them, so we were driving like maniacs trying to get from Winnipeg to Hyatt Lake Tahoe so we could hear them. If you're not familiar with it, we have a term called dark nights, and that's where like the room is closed down and nobody performs. It's just a dark night. Well, they just changed the dark night, and this group was done. We got there, they were already packed up, and half of them were already gone. And this is another one of those things, like somebody's looking over you. Okay, the only one left was Randy Brooks and Rick. I don't remember his last name. The only reason why I remember Randy says he wrote the song. Randy Brooks actually wrote Grandma. So we get there and we kind of meet them and everything. They're out working on their van. Their van wouldn't operate. So they're out in the parking lot working on their van trying to get it started. They finally got it going, but it was real late at night. So they decided they would leave in the morning. We went in and sat up. Next morning we get up, or next day we get up and go in. They're still there. What happened is a big storm came in, snowstorm. They closed down the mountain. Nobody could come up and nobody could get off. And so I'm going, Well, this is different. So anyway, we go to play our first set, and there's Randy and Ricky sitting right at the front table. And after we got through, he came up, he says, I just wrote a Christmas song, and my group thinks it's really silly and they don't want to record it. Don't you know they're kicking themselves? So anyway, he says, let's go back to the dress. I'll sing it for you if you like it. Whatever. So we went back to the dressing room, and he sang Grandma to us. And we went out on our second show. We invited him up. He sang it. The audience went wild. And we thought, can we record it? Do you mind if we take it? Hadn't been copyrighted, published, nothing. So I called my parents here and said, sending you a tape, and we want to copyright this song and put it in your publishing company. So it went to my parents' publishing company. First thing we did when we finished that job, that was in October, we drove straight, well, we lived in LA or San Francisco, and went over to Oakland, and Mike, I can remember his first name. She's 44 years old, and I'm a senior, so you're lucky you're getting half the names you're getting. But anyway, we went to Oakland to record the song, sent the copy back to my parents. They did all the copyright stuff that we needed to do, so it was our song. We released it that Christmas, 1979, is when we actually released Grandma. So now we got this working, and okay, let's see. Okay. But anyway, after we got it recorded, we started playing it. It took us 5 years, from 79 to 83, to get it to #1. Now then, the part where Don was telling you about it, it was recorded here. The original recording was done in Oakland, California, and we had pretty much taken care of the West Coast. Tower Records had it, Peaches, a lot of mom and dads had it there. We couldn't press them fast enough. And so we were giving them to the stores ourselves. And guess what? No cell phones. Once and I was the delivery person. Once we loaded the back of the car, I took off. There was no way to contact each other until we got to the store. And Tower Records said they wanted 20. By the time I got to Tower Records, they took 200. Oh. And so what happened was, why that big buildup was, we were doing a thing called the Harvest Festival, and we were playing in the big auditorium there, the Coliseum type thing. And it was a humongous festival. Well, we put our show on, and there was an opera singer, and he was real famous in San Francisco. And he bought a copy. We didn't meet him, didn't talk to him, but he bought a copy, and he knew this fellow, Gene Nelson, who was one of the top DJs in San Francisco. He said, you gotta play this song. Now this guy had some weight, literally. So anyway, but nobody at this point had played it on the radio. Up to this point, nobody played it. And this was in '83, nobody played it. And we gave it, Gene gave it to, what he did is his last song on his radio show, he played Grandma. Now he's well enough known, he took the copy, went to his locker, put it in his locker, locked it, and they give him a vacation to Hawaii every year. So he's gone during Christmas. So he locks it up, takes to the airport, and he's gone. From that one playing, we sold over 10,000 records in less than a week. Wow. I know, we were like, what? We gotta get busy and start printing them. So anyway, from there we started getting calls all across the United States. Now we had sent almost every major radio station a copy, and I think they immediately put it in file 13, because it was coming from, they didn't know where. Now all of a sudden the song's taken off and everybody wants it. So at all hours of the day and night, I remember one time about 3 o'clock in the morning, it was some New York radio station. It was one of those two guys teams, and he calls and said, could you do Grandma and send us a copy? So I got on one phone, played the guitar and sang, and Elmo got on the other phone and sang. And we were like a room apart, and we did this song, and that's how we did most of the people till we could send them a copy of the record. And the rest is kind of history. You guys made it happen, because we weren't with a record label or anything. And so we were kind of like the red-headed stepchild. But anyway, I wanted to tell you too, I've worked with Don here. I got to give him a lot of credit here. I've got some of these, and you're welcome to take one. But it's kind of like a little brochure about it. But anyway, I've done all these videos with Don. He's helped me do a lot of these and just wonderfully creative. I like to give him a hard time. And we've got a new one that we've just put out, and we got to see Liam Neeson talk about it on, he's put out a thing. But anyway, we've just made a new program, and I want to have you get one of these. But if you go to YouTube on the 24th of December and type in "If You Hear Sleigh Bells Duck," you'll get to hear our new production. I wanted to do something different this year and make a Christmas card on YouTube as opposed to sending one out. And then we've put together 12 episodes of a program called The Night the Lights Went Out on Grandma. And what it is we've got newspaper, TV, and radio reporters interviewing family, friends, and relatives, and they give details about what happened to Grandma on Christmas Eve. And it's all voiceover work. And so it was a lot of fun putting together. Am I taking too long?
No, you're good.
Okay, okay.
You're good.
Okay. But anyway, I'm just going to do one song.
That's right. That's right.
But anyway, please take one of these and one of these brochures. And this one you can get here locally. What is Pam? Is it the book in or the book nook? Book in. This is my latest. I can't stop creating. My mind just runs. And but anyway, as you can see, you're gonna like this, and you're gonna like this. It's a magical coloring book, not just any coloring book. It's a magical coloring book that you can do for your friends. You can tap it and say your magic words. And as you fan it, you can see it's just black and white pictures, right? Okay, now that here's where the magic comes in. You'll tap it and do all sorts of things. Wouldn't it be fun to see what it would look like with the colors so I can get some ideas? So now when you see it, it's all in color. Then you go, but I want to create my own book. And so I want to make my own pictures and do my own story. So you'll tap it again. And this time when you fan it, it's blank. How did she do that? How did she do that? Okay, I will tell these two the secret. Okay, here's how you do it. When you fan it, the top is black and white. When you fan it from the middle, it's in color. And when you fan it from the bottom, it's black. Now I only have a few places where I have it available. I create stuff and then I just put it aside. But anyway, Pam, just talk to Pam at the book end, and these are available there. Okay. Isn't that fun? It took me months to figure that out. Still figuring it out. Once you get it home and see really close up, you're welcome to look at it. Look here. You'll figure it out. Okay, first off, because this is worldwide. How many days away are we from Christmas? Do you know?
6.
6 days? 6. Okay. Well, if you're like most of us, or like especially like me, I put stuff off all the time. And so I wrote a song. I was thinking, we got to get everybody rolling here. And so I wrote this little song for Christmas. Not Grandma's, is it? Here's up to it and down to it and up to it again. If you don't do it when you get to it, you may never get to it again. So do it, just do it, let's do it. Running out of time, what you gonna do? Spin your wheels, talk it on through, work it out, get it done. Don't put it off, it'll never get done. So do it, just do it, let's do it, get it done. Isn't it true? You have to put things aside. And I was thinking about, I gotta go get this, and I gotta get that, and I gotta get ready for Cam and get the house done. And I go, okay, just do it. Okay, I've told you about Grandma. By the way, she has sold over 18 million copies. Wow. And she's gone platinum. And I don't know why, but it's wonderful. Like I said, I'm really excited to be part of her history. And anyway, y'all know the chorus, sing along, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Grandma got run over by a reindeer, walking home from our house to see. You can say there's no such thing as Santa. As for me and Grandpa, we believe. She'd been drinking too much eggnog and we begged her not to go. She forgot her medication, and she staggered out the door into the snow. Then we found her Christmas morning at the scene of the attack. She had both prints on her forehead and incriminating claws marks on her back. Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa. As for me and Grandpa, now we're all so proud of Grandpa. He's been taking this so well. See him in there watching football, drinking beer. Oh, wait a minute, she wouldn't be drinking beer. She might be drinking Pritchard's.
Another meeting coming up.
All the family's dressed in black, and we just can't help but wonder, should we open up her gifts or send them back?
Send them back.
Yes! Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa. As for me and Grandpa, we believe. Now the goose is on the table, and the pudding made of fig, and the blue and silver candles that would just to match the hair in Grandma's wig. We warned all our friends and neighbors, better watch out for yourselves. They should never give a license to the man who drives a sleigh and plays with the last chance. Oh, wait a minute. I got these two here. What do you think Grandma's least favorite vegetable is? What would you think? Carrots?
What do you think the least favorite veggie? What's the one you don't like?
Broccoli.
How about squash?
Oh, squash.
Do we have any police officers in here? Do you know what the policeman charged that reindeer with after they finally caught him? Hit and run deer. Okay, here we go, last chance. Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa. As for me and